Hey everyone, my name is John, and this is going to be a short video on U.S. political parties, the differences between them, and we're going to figure out where you fit on the political spectrum. What does it mean to be a liberal or a conservative? About 87% of U.S. citizens identify with either the Republican or Democratic Party, and the sources are in the description box below. But how many people really understand why they associate with their party? Because your great-grand family before you were Republican, so you are too? Or maybe you just don't like the current president, so you lean the other way. Maybe your favorite color is blue or red. I don't know. Whatever the reason, I am here to help you determine what party fits your principles the closest, using a special little chart. First, I should clarify that the categorization of political parties is a continuous spectrum rather than a black and white, one or the other. Most people are somewhere in the middle, leaning somewhat right or somewhat left. Of course, most voters don't necessarily agree with every single opinion of their associated political party, so it's more accurately a closest fit rather than an absolute label. You might even be surprised to see where you fit on the political spectrum. So what sets the Democratic and Republican Party apart? It may seem like a vague label for many people, but their general opinion on some issues does differ. So instead of going through all of these issues specifically, an easier way is to boil down the issues to just two broad questions that we can use to accurately categorize. And so here are the questions. Number one, does the party generally promote government involvement in issues related to personal freedoms, such as abortion rights, gun rights, and substance use? Question number two, does the party generally prefer big or small government involvement, such as with business regulations, social programs, and taxation? I like to use a visual to help explain this concept, and here is the chart I made for this. As you can see, the x-axis corresponds with question number one, the degree of government control and personal freedoms, while the y-axis corresponds with question number two, the degree of government involvement. More involvement generally means more government spending. Now let's see where the Democratic and Republican Party fall on this chart. As you can see, the Democratic Party believes in less government control in personal freedom issues, such as abortion and legal marijuana, while it also believes in higher government involvement, usually corresponding with higher spending and more social programs. The Republican Party, on the other hand, believes in more government control in personal freedoms, such as the government regulating abortions and greater control over substances, while the Republican Party also believes in less government involvement with social programs, which limits its spending, hence the term conservative. Of course, there are exceptions, such as Republicans generally supporting less personal freedom restrictions with gun control. Hopefully this chart shows you that identifying with a political party is a little more complex than people tend to think. Most people are a ratio of the two. For example, someone might be 40% Democrat and 60% Republican. Very few extremists are 100% Republican or 100% Democrat. Needless to say, many Republicans are for abortion rights, and many liberals are for fewer gun restrictions. This is just a general categorization. Your political beliefs can fall anywhere on this chart. So what about the other two corners? Well, those correspond with the Libertarian Party and the Socialist Party. The Libertarian Party generally believing in less government control over personal freedoms and small-sized laissez-faire government. And finally, the Socialist Party, which is lots and lots of government regulations. In general. Now, let me show you an example of how to use the chart to see where you lie. Starting with the horizontal axis, how much control do you think the government should have to regulate personal freedoms? Let's say not very much, so I'm going to stay near the left side. Now, to find my place on the vertical axis, I ask how much I think the government should be involved in social programs, regulating the economy, spending money in general, etc. I'm kind of a laissez-faire sort of guy, so I'll stay near the bottom. So graphing the point, I end up in the bottom left corner, implying that my political beliefs match up closest with the Libertarian Party. To further complicate political identification, some people end up right on a line, meaning that they are split between two parties equally, and others can actually fall directly in the middle of all four parties. As you can see, there's a lot of gray here. This is simply my favorite way to distinguish the differences in political parties without having to go through every single specific issue involved. It is in no way a perfect categorization method, mainly because personal identities tend to be subjective and very difficult to define. Try it out on your own. See where you fall on the chart. Was anyone surprised with the result? Oh, and one more thing. What about independents? Well, those are simply people who vote for the person, not the party, which is what everyone should be doing. Because as you can see, the true difference between parties are so broad with so many exceptions that it really boils down to the politician. Political parties naturally evolved as a way to raise money for potential candidates. So if you plan on running for office, just choose whatever party suits your fancy and stick with it. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you guys learned something. Leave a comment in the comment section below for questions, suggestions, and good clean jokes. If you know someone who could benefit from watching this video, then let this knowledge spread like butter on bread. Hey, that kind of rhymed, didn't it? So if you enjoyed this video and want to see more, please subscribe, like, and or share so I can just keep on rolling. Jean here, have a mindful day. No, I don't really like that catchphrase. That wasn't very good. I'll think of a better one next time.